Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Pixels by Angel. In this video you are going to learn about design systems and how to create a simple one. First of all, let's understand what a design system means, and for this we'll have a look at the definition. So envisionapp.com says that a design system is a collection of reusable components guided by clear standards that can be assembled together to build any number of components. So in order to understand that a little bit better, let's have a look at a few examples from a few brands. Let's have a look now on the Golduk design system. So you'll notice their design system is split in styles, components and patterns. And those are like the main three things which I want you to remember. Styles are like the look and feel of the website, of your brand. Then the components are like reusable parts of user interface that have been made to support a variety of applications. So you can create those different components like buttons, input, footers, headers, and different tables or navigation menus, and reuse them across different applications or website. So if you do that, you'll have a consistent design across multiple applications. And then there is patterns. Patterns are like best practice design solutions for specific user-focused tasks and page types. So when you're talking about patterns, I want you to think about user flow. So like specific tasks that a user will do that can do multiple times on your application. So for example, there is the bank details pattern where you get to fill 4 specific fields in order to complete a goal, so in order to do a task. But that can happen multiple times on a website or an app, so you need this formed into a pattern, as you don't want to do them all over again every time you need it. Okay, that can be for dates, so you want a pattern for date when you need that. You'll notice telephone number, password, so all of those are part of the patterns. Let's have a look at the Mailchimp design system. Again, this is split in the foundations are basically the styles of the Gov.uk. So we have colors, we have data visualizations because in Mailchimp data is very important. Then you have the grid systems and typography. You'll notice those again in the styles of Gov.uk. We have the layout. So it's basically the same thing that the grid system has on Mailchimp. And there is a material design from material.io. You'll notice again the layout grid, pixel density, so a lot of information. Again, you have colors, the color system, and there is a Fluent UI of Microsoft. Again, for each web product, Excel, Exchange, OneDrive, Office, OneNote, you have specific colors, neutrals shared. Then iconography, Fluent UI icons, layout, again 12 grid system, the same as on Gov.uk. I don't think that's specified here, but anyway, there's a grid system here. There's a grid system on Mailchimp's design system, and on Fluent UI there's a grid system. So I've prepared something in Adobe XD. So this is like a template which you can use to create your own design system. So now that you have a better understanding of what the elements has to be in a design system, you will be able to create your own by following the tutorial till the end. So now we want to take it step by step and create the foundations of your system. So we have the colors here. I have defined it as the main colors. And there's a color palette. Then we have the grid system, the typography, we have iconography and buttons. And there's also the breakpoint of the grid system. So because maybe the specific columns of your grid can go half size or full size depending on if it's on mobile or tablet or desktop. So we'll talk that when we reach this point. Alright, so the main colors, I've already defined few for text color, secondary text color, link color hover, link color visited. This should be active, my bad. Then we have border color, input border color, focus text color, error color, confirmation color. You'll notice the way which I've defined them. So text color, it's I wrote text dash color, enter the hex code. I did that because we want to define this design system in order to use it at a later time. Maybe we want to create it with SCSS, and you don't want to code it all over again and remember which hex code is. So you'll only define that once you code it, and you can just find the color using this variable. So we give a variable and the code, and that's gonna make it easy on your design system. Okay, next I've defined the color palette, so that being a different shades of black and gray. Then there's the color light green, color green. Usually I try to have a light version and a dark version of the same color. So there's a light purple, then I have purple, light blue, light red, light yellow, and yellow. Now I've already defined this, but you'll have the Adobe XD template available in the description of this video, so you can download it and you can customize it as you want for your brand. Okay, so in order to do that, let's say you want a different color for the link, you're just gonna double click on it, select your link color, then you're gonna copy the hex, double click on the hex and paste it. I just undo that because I want to keep my original colors. And then we will move into the grid systems or layout. You'll notice I've defined the gutters of 30 pixels and margins of 15 pixels. So this is 30 pixels and the margins are 15 pixels. Well, basically the gutters are double the margin sizes. So this is gonna be the gutter of that's gonna stay between columns. Because we want to have a bit of space and keep that space consistent on our website or application. Okay, so I've defined the gutter 30 pixels, margins 15 pixels, and I did that by providing a border size for this of 15 pixels. So I've created a shape of my column. This is a column, and I give it a size of 15 pixels border. That's gonna keep it. If we put them side by side, we'll have a gutter of 30 pixels here. Okay, next we will want to define some columns. So this is column size 1 of 1. What does it mean? It means that it's gonna take the full width of the window. So for screen size, it's gonna take full size, full width, one column of full width basically. I'm gonna copy this and paste it at the bottom, and we want to give it half size. So in order to do that, I'm gonna make this half, so you can just put /2. That's gonna make it 415 pixels wide, and copy and paste it next to it. Hold on, let me just modify description here. This is like size 1 of half size. I'm gonna paste it over. Okay, and this is again half size of 1, so 1 split by 2. Okay, then we have size 1 split by 3. I'm gonna copy this. Actually, let me just delete this. I'm gonna copy this over here. I'm gonna split this in 3 equal okay, and copy and paste it 3 times. Actually, let me just rename this again. Copy and paste, copy and paste. Gonna make I think I'm just gonna make this a bit smaller, so you'll see it will not affect anyway the border. Or actually we can keep it as it was. And I'm just gonna move this a bit to the right. Okay, just like that. You'll notice the size increase is because of the gutter size that's increasing here between them. I'm gonna do exactly the same thing, copy and paste this here and split it by 4 equal columns. Okay, gonna copy and paste this 4 times. And the same thing here, we want... Okay, let me just move this a bit to the bottom so we have enough space. Okay, and copy and paste this. And split it by 8 equal sides. Let's drag this to the middle. 1 out of 8. Copy and paste 8 times. Actually 7 because we already have 1. Alright. Okay, so now we have defined, let me just move this a little bit. Okay, we have defined now the grid systems. Let's just arrange this a little bit. Okay, that's fine. So we have created a grid system that we can use on our applications. Usually this can be done with Bootstrap. Usually Bootstrap is on 12 columns, but for this one I've preferred to have an 8 column to show you as an example. And then we have the breakpoint. So for example, let's take the first one. There's the grid size 1 of 8 with a minimum width of 960 pixels. You want 12.5%. So this is gonna take one of these is going to take 12.5% of the full width. And if there's a minimum screen size of 640 pixels up to 960 pixels, so between these two you want the one of 8 to take 50% of the screen. So let me just give you a proper example of how that breakpoints work. So let's say we have this 640 pixels artboard of, and the next artboard is gonna be 960 pixels, right? And we copy one of the size 1 of 8 to the first board and give it 50% of 960 of 640, that being 320. Okay, so it's gonna look like this 1 of 8, and the rest of them are gonna go under it. So you have 4 on left, 4 on right. But how are they gonna look on a larger size? They are gonna take 12.5%, and they're gonna look like this. So when you go on mobile, those columns are gonna go on rows like this. So 50% of the width and 50% of the width. What's left? There's nothing left, it's like 0% left on the right. That means the next columns are gonna get on the next row. But since there's enough space on columns for desktop, they're gonna go just on columns, not equal columns. So this is the way you create the breakpoints. Now, those are already defined here. If you're not happy with them, you can adjust them as you want for your applications. But this is just an example of how breakpoints work. Right, then next we will define the typography, and usually we have a type scale. So there is a heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, body bold, body, and buttons. Maybe you need more, maybe you need italic, but in my example I did not use it. So in my template I use Arial bold for heading 1. But let's say I want to customize this and I want to use something else for my brand. I'm gonna go with I think I'm gonna go with Roboto bold of 48 pixels. So maybe you want to define 2 sizes for each. This can be the size for desktop and this can be for mobile, so you can have different valuations. Okay, I'm gonna call this Roboto bold. And there is the HTML tag. That's gonna be H1. I'm gonna do this Roboto bold again of 45 pixels. Let me just copy this. And this is just gonna be simply Roboto, regular. So again, the size is very defined, 35 pixels as I mentioned here. Heading 4, again, I want Roboto on this. 25 pixels and regular. Okay, then we have the body bold. I'm gonna go really with Open Sans. If you're not sure about the font combinations and you want something useful and something that can help you, can go on Google and type Google font combinations. Use on fontpair.co and you'll find a lot of useful examples here. So for example, here's the Domine Roboto. Yeah, you've got plenty of combinations you can choose from, and you can actually preview them exactly how they look. So keep in mind, I'm gonna have this in the description, fontpair.co, and you can have a lot of examples if you're out of inspiration. Okay, let's go back to Adobe XD. So I said Open Sans bold 22 pixels. I think this should be, I'm just gonna remove that. Just call it paragraph bold. This is gonna be Open Sans again. We can define paragraph style bold, or sorry, paragraph class bold. And for buttons, I think I'm just gonna leave it as Arial regular of 20 pixels. I just like that. I'm just gonna leave it without anything for now. And we want to create some usage examples to show how you are going to use those paragraphs, those headings, the buttons. Well, buttons we're gonna keep them for later. We will create them as components here, but we wanted to define the typography for the button. So let's show how we will use this heading. I'm gonna call it maybe page title. You're going to use it for page titles or something that's very important, like page titles or anything that has to do with titles, something short that's not too long, but that you want to get the attention of the user on that heading. Next, we will use the heading tree. So we have the page title up here. Then we have potentially an article. This is the latest article name, article title. And heading 4, you may want to use this as, let's say you want a short description about the content of this article. So you may want to use it that way. And then you just align them properly. And then you want to use the body. Okay, for this I'm just gonna go and search lorem ipsum just to add something to it. Yeah, just gonna copy and paste something. I think I'm gonna paste it multiple times so you can see it better. Alright, so this is basically how we define typography. This is a sample article. Maybe you want to add it with some borders. Yeah, maybe like that. And this is actual example of a component. This can be your article component. Okay, next we will go to iconography, and usually you want to design those in Illustrator and export them as SVG. I think that's the best practice, that's the best thing which you can do for icons. However, if you are out of inspiration or you don't have time and you don't want to worry about them because maybe they're not important for you, maybe they're not so important, because still icons are an important part of design system. So I've got something which can help you. You can go on about elements and let's say UI icons. You can search for UI icons, and there you have a lot of options which you can choose from. Now, About Elements will provide you with a lot of templates, graphics, photos, sound effects, video, stock footage. For I think it's about 15. No, actually, I think it's $25 a month, but it's totally worth it. So if you're interested in that, you've got my affiliate link. If you want to also support this channel, there's an affiliate link in the description of this channel. So I totally recommend it. I use it for more than 1 year now, and I'm really happy about it. So let me show you how you can download and use icons. Okay, let's say we are going to use this icon set, or maybe this one. Just gonna download it. Okay, I've got him here, and we want to use the SFG. Sorry, not that. Let's see if that works. I think we'll need to export him first. So let's say desktop. Okay, I'll have to move them from there, but for now, just gonna drag and drop them. There is the icon set. That was quick and easy. And so on, you can download multiple icons. There's more for it. Get everything done in a similar style. So because you don't want, let's say, those icons combined with something else which they don't look the same. So let's say you don't want to mix icons like that with different colors with icons like this, which are pretty simple and they have those square ends. So you want to keep the design system consistent with the icons done in a similar way in order to make it look great. So for this I've got the icons ready. So yeah, some of them. And I'm going to go now to create some components. So in our case, we want to get started with creating buttons. In order to do that, you want to keep in mind what you have designed before. So we have typography, we have the main colors and color palette. And first thing, before going to buttons, we want to add those different assets, so style guide elements and typography, to our assets panel. So that's gonna make it easier when you create components or different elements. Just pick up the color that you want or the exact copy, so you keep everything consistent. Okay, in order to do that, Let's see if that works. You can just say add color to assets. So let's just pick up everything except this. Actually, let's just pick up, because we have some similarities like the color black, and you don't want to have duplicates. Actually, let's do that. Because we have like the border, we have focus text color, link color active, and when you do add color to assets, you'll just have one color anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so we have all the colors in the color panel, sorry, in the assets panel, and we will do the same thing with those. Add character style to assets, and we have all of them here. Maybe if you want, you can even rename them. So you can, for example, you can call this heading 1, or call this, let's see, which one is it? Yeah, this would be like heading 4. So you can go on and rename them if you want. Okay, and using this we will create our button, which is the first component from this example. Let's just get the border out, and you can just double click on the color that you want. So I reserved this color for links. I'm gonna use it for buttons as well. Okay, and have this submit, or let's just use an icon, and maybe we can call it search. Yeah, as we have that search icon there, and we can use it here. Yeah, you can even do the same thing with the icon. So you're gonna right click and say make component. Actually, for this we'll need to do that one by one. Yeah, it does work anyway. You just have to right click and say make component for each option. Well, I'm just gonna do that for the search icon. Okay, and we want this text to be the one we used for buttons here. So from type scale, we use the buttons at Arial regular of 20 pixels. So yes, you can just double click on it. Just gonna make it smaller. And make this white. Apply as fill. Okay, so I've already done the search component here. I can just drag and drop it. Let's just them align nicely. Okay, now I can make this white because I want it white on this button, and decrease the margins. So ideally you want to keep in mind the margins which you have used here. So you can, if you're not sure about 15 pixels margins, you can copy and paste this and just adjust it. I think that would be like 30 ideally, so same as the gutter. Yeah, I'd keep it that way. And probably the same size. Top, well, maybe the top we can leave it smaller, like 15 pixels. But yeah, this would be our first. We can group this and call it. Actually, let's just copy and paste and create the over state and the pressed state. So our over state will be this color. Actually, we want our different one, maybe this. And pressed, we'll get this one. Yep, that works. And now we can make them components and call them CTA1, CTA normal, CTA over, and CTA pressed. Okay, well, this will be how you can create a design system. This is like the foundation, and what's most important into a design system. How do you get started? Now there is a lot more you need to do. You can go on, as I mentioned, and explore what has been done before for other brands like Mailchimp, like Fluent UI, like the layout you've seen on Gov UK. Those are all pretty good examples which you can use. You can learn more about it and you can create your own. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you'll subscribe to this channel if you really liked it, and I'll see you in the next video.